Episode 8. I'll Stay Here. As James and Vanessa left, the surrounding guests also dispersed while chatting amongst themselves. Today's events were too sensational, and they were still reeling in shock. When Manager Williams saw that James had already left and he did not intend to pursue him, only then did he secretly let out a sigh of relief. Damn it, he's clearly a rich man. Why is he pretending to be poor? He almost scared me to death. Fortunately, I reacted in time. Otherwise, I'm afraid my rice bowl would have been smashed this time. Manager Williams let out a long breath of air that was stuck in his chest and murmured to himself in his heart. After calming his emotions somewhat, Manager Williams turned around and realized that there was someone behind him. He almost bumped into him. President Smith, why are you here? He looked up and saw that it was the general manager of the Chef's Grill restaurant, Richard Smith. He immediately addressed him respectfully. Richard's expression at this moment was somewhat ugly. This instantly gave Manager Williams an ominous feeling. Manager Williams, go to the finance office and get the pay for this month. From tomorrow onwards, you don't have to come to work anymore. Richard looked at him without any mercy and passed down his order. Manager Williams felt like he was struck by lightning. He couldn't bear the consequences. No, President Smith, what did you say? You want to fire me? Manager Williams couldn't believe his ears. James clearly didn't say anything. Richard didn't answer his question. However, the look in his eyes was very clear. He was really fired. President Smith, I, Manager Williams, have done nothing but worked hard in the restaurant all these years. You can't fire me just like that. Besides, you must have a reason to fire me, right? Manager Williams looked at Richard and said indignantly, a reason? Since you want a reason so much, I'll give you a reason. The reason is that you offended someone you shouldn't have. You have to pay for your mistakes. Seeing that you have contributed a lot to the Chef's Grill restaurant over the years, I'll pay you all of your salary this month. Take care of yourself. After Richard finished speaking, he patted Manager Williams' shoulder gently to comfort him. Then he turned around and left. Manager Williams' entire body went limp. He felt as if the sky had fallen and his whole world was crumbling. He thought that he had already escaped a calamity, but in the end, he still couldn't avoid paying the price for looking down on others. However, the price was a little too high. Vanessa, thank you. After returning to the room, James looked at Vanessa and thanked her with a smile. Oh, don't be so polite. You saved my life today. This small matter is nothing. Vanessa smiled and waved her hand. Her peerlessly beautiful face made James intoxicated. He was simply unable to extricate himself from it. She was like a succubus, making him fall deeper and deeper into her abyss of charm. James. Vanessa looked at him, who was in a daze. She had to shout his name a couple of times to pull him back. I'm sorry. James realized that he had lost his composure. His expression immediately became a little awkward. However, when Vanessa saw James like this, she could not help but cover her mouth and giggle. Her laughter was bright and clear, sounding like silver bells ringing in his ears. Or an elf had arrived in this world to entertain him. Although there was a little unpleasant episode during the dinner, it was the happiest dinner James had eaten in the city for the past 8 years. At the entrance of the Chef's Grill restaurant, James looked at Vanessa and smiled. Vanessa, thank you for the dinner. No, I should be the one thanking you. Vanessa pursed her lips and smiled. I really want the time to stop at this moment forever. James scratched his head and stared at Vanessa's beautiful appearance. He felt slightly embarrassed. Why? Vanessa asked, even though she already knew the answer. Because then I can always see you. James used to be a reserved person who was not good at expressing himself. But today, for some reason, he was especially confident. It was as if he had all the confidence in the world. Is that so? It's not that difficult to see me. Let's go. Take me home. I don't have anywhere else to go tonight. I'll just sleep at your house." Vanessa did not look like a helpless, weak lady at all. Instead, she had turned into a forthright and daring woman. However, her words made James, who was using water to relieve his nervousness, spit the water on the ground. It was not that he had never seen a direct woman before, but she was a bit too much. This was the first time a woman had asked him to take her home, even though it was their first meeting. What? She wants to crash at my place? Are we already at that stage? Isn't this a bit too fast? No, it definitely is. Could it be the effect of the lucky card? James looked surprised and mumbled under his breath. In that single moment, countless thoughts had appeared in his mind. All kinds of scenarios instantly made his blood boil. "What's wrong, Mr. Tucker? What's too fast?" Vanessa's expression turned serious all of a sudden. James felt a little embarrassed. He quickly waved his hand. "No, it's nothing. But are you sure you want to stay at my place?" "Of course. Is there a problem?" Vanessa acted innocent, her pretty eyes full of purity. No problem. Let's go then." James did not waste any more time. The next place to check in was in his bedroom. The results of the first 2 times were already out of his imagination. He was now looking forward to what kind of reward he would get this time. "Mr. Tucker, please wait." Just as the two were about to leave, someone suddenly called out to James. James turned around and saw that it was the man who had helped them identify the property ownership certificate on the 3rd floor. He looked to be in his 30s. "Oh, it's you. Oh, right. I forgot to thank you just now." Seeing that it was the man who had helped him earlier, James smiled politely. "Mr. Tucker, you're welcome. It was nothing. Don't worry about it." The man walked up to James and acted in a humble manner. "What is it?" James asked. James looked at the man. The guy wasn't here to merely receive his thanks, right? The man looked at him respectfully. Then he handed James a business card with both hands. "Hello, Mr. Tucker. I am Mitchell Haynes, a high-end property consultant. This is my business card. If you need to rent or sell your office building in the future, you can contact me," he told James. He couldn't let go of this business opportunity. "So, you're a real estate agent. Okay, I'll take the business card. If I need something in the future, I'll consider you first." James took the business card and put it away. "Thank you so much, Mr. Tucker. In that case, I will not disturb you anymore. Farewell." After Mitchell Haynes finished speaking, he didn't dare to pester James too much. He turned around and left with big strides. "Mr. Tucker, let's go." Once Mitchell Haynes left, Vanessa walked up and pulled James's arm. Her voice was as gentle as a peaceful stream of water. James felt like he was in love. Although he knew it was just an illusion, he didn't want to wake up. Rather, he wished that this illusion could continue forever. After a seemingly long ride, at the entrance of an old residential area near the outskirts of the city, both of them walked down from a taxi. "You live here?" Vanessa looked at the sketchy residential area in front of her and asked James with a slight frown. The place looked gloomy and there were trash bags everywhere. Clearly only the poor would live here. She was getting more and more confused about James. From his clothes, he did seem like he was a resident of this place. However, the 10 real estate certificates stated otherwise. All of this appeared too illogical. "Yeah, let's go inside." James acted very naturally, not finding it odd at all. He nodded and led the way. Vanessa frowned even more when she heard his answer. She did not follow him, but stood rooted to the spot, deep in thought. She thought about it hard before muttering to herself, "This guy is clearly loaded. How could he live in such a neighborhood? Could he be playing a game to conceal his identity? Or is he hiding from an enemy?" She was lost in her doubts, not realizing that James was now standing there, staring at her after she didn't follow him.